Okay, so it is the 10-year anniversary?
Yeah.
Okay, so the 10-year anniversary of Since Before Our Time. And what do you what's the reflection? Oh, I'm sorry. Scratch that. Let's just start from the beginning. Alex, why don't you give us a little bit about yourself?
Sure.
Sorry.
Um, no, that's all right. Yeah, I play drums in Wolves and Machines as of recently, about a year ago or so. I was in this band, I think in what, 2008?
Oh, not that long. 11, maybe? Yeah,
Okay,
11.
yeah, maybe it was. Yeah, 10 or 11. I was around for the recording of Ailments. I kind of helped like proxy engineer some of it,
Mm-hmm.
but just hung out around then. Um, Kind of fell out of touch for a while, and we reconnected about a year ago at Excellency Fest in Bay City. And yeah, I've been rocking with them ever since. I'm in a couple other bands, Moral Pollution, which is kind of all over the Detroit and Saginaw Bay City area,
Oh,
hardcore band. Um,
nice.
that was my primary thing before this. But yep, home recording engineer. This is our practice space in my home studio, Bright Black Earth. Been doing that for 12 or 13 years or so. So yeah.
Do you do what for other bands too, or just kind of just for you guys?
Yeah, so we recently started retracking ailments. We did the drums here. I've done a couple hardcore records over the past year or so. Vigilante from Detroit just did a new band, Stop at Nothing. Primarily, have done every band I've ever been in here. All the way back from They Come in Waves, which was like kind of we had played with Wolves, where they're kind of like our bro band back in the day, but that's all been done here.
Aaron, um, okay, what have you been up to, dude? I know we kind of really here and there kind of touch base a little bit,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like, what? How has it been with? I think the last time we talked, it was just like, I know everything was shut down and blah blah blah, but
yeah.
I when things started gradually opening up and whatnot, I saw you guys were starting to finally play shows again, practice, a little more posting here and there, but how's that been since? Yeah, for what's been like a year and a half or something like that, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah, well, we like Alex said, we kind of started playing together with Alex last year, and it's we've kind of finally gotten to this point with the group that everybody we're all kind of on the same page. We're practicing every week, which is something that we just never had a good routine for. And so
yeah.
we've we've prioritized it without making it like a burdensome priority. Like we have our time for it, but we know that it's nobody's number one most important.
Oh yeah.
We'll have other lives that we have to be attending to. So it's like we extracted just the fun part of being in a band, and we're just doing that like full stop. So it's super cool. Yeah, like Alex said, we've been slowly but surely, we're kind of a one track mind band, but slowly but surely re-recording our first album just kind of as a fun passion project. And then but right now our priority has been like you mentioned, we've got our it's been 10 years since our sophomore album, Since Before Our Time, came out. So we have a show that we're playing that album front to back. So we've just been grinding away at getting those songs right, a lot of them that we hadn't played in years, some that we had never played, and just dialing it in. Um, not just learning how to play the songs on guitar or whatever, but learning how to function as a band with
Yeah.
these songs and make them as as true to the originals as possible, while also adding a lot to it, because there are different dudes in the band now than were there for that. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
been just a lot of fun.
I was gonna say because how you're going to do that live will be really interesting because the album is has it feels like just like an ongoing like it almost feels like a conceptual album like as far as like a long ongoing story. It just everything flows right into the other
Yeah.
perfectly. There's not really any like stops to kind of like really divide the songs, which is so cool because I went back and I revisited again and I'm just like wow, I forgot how good this album is. And I love the flow of it because it really does go up and down. And again, and I have to say, I kind of changed my mind on my favorite song. I think I was very into All Alarms. but I have to say the way, no, I'm sorry, it was Turn to Stone.
Uh,
But I have to say my favorite song is probably Many Happy Returns. And that
oh,
is, to me, is the perfect way to end the album, in my opinion. So, um, what are, so I know you said you're gonna play from front to back or all the way through.
mhm,
And I know there's some challenges because there's different feels with different, members.
mhm.
Um, I mean, I know it's been fun. Has it been quite challenging as well, or?
I mean, yeah, I think really what it was getting in front of all of the busy work of it. I I had to go in, so we have just how the structure of the band is. Obviously, Alex didn't play on that record, so he was familiar with it, and he's added a lot of his own style and flair to it, which is really cool.
Nice.
Brian, who's one of our other guitarists, he wasn't on the record, so those two integrating was not a challenge, but a feel thing of like, okay, we got to figure out how to play these songs with this group of people and not sacrifice. I love Alex as a drummer, so I don't want him to be playing drums not how he would play drums,
Yeah, yeah,
that kind of thing. And same with Brian, and then finding where everybody fits in there and um, getting the dynamics right, all those different things. It's been a challenge, but on the good side of a challenge. Like it's been a
yeah.
fun challenge. For me, even going back, and revisiting the songs and some of those songs, even though the record came out 10 years ago, some of those songs are 12, 13 years old depending on when I started writing
Yeah, true.
certain parts and stuff like that. And Scott, our other guitarist, we have three guitarists total.
That's right.
He had written a lot of the guitar parts and stuff like that, so kind of going back and he and I getting back in that headspace has been really cool.
Yeah, you guys were just a few members short, I think, of being like the Slipknot emo band or something
That's
like
right. That's what we're going for.
that.
We got the masks. We're ready to go.
Instead of anger, you bring all the emotions out.
That's right. Yeah,
The
we're sad.
softer
We're
side.
sad now.
Well, cool. And so where is it that you guys are playing this the whole album on?
Yeah, so it's just up the road from us in Bay City, which is about 30 minutes from us. It's the venue where they do Excellency Fest, which has been a really cool annual fest by a local promoter, Troy. He had the building reserved for this month and asked if we wanted to do a show, and it was just kind of like, oh, sweet. This happens to be the 10-year of that album, so it was just kismet, and it worked out really
Yeah.
well. But yeah, it's a cool venue. There's a couple stages. Yeah, it's just a cool spot to play, all ages venue and everything like that.
And
So
you have played that before, that
yeah,
venue?
yeah,
Okay.
we've played in different shows. There's Alex and I did a Saves the Day cover set there
Yeah.
a few months ago.
That's
We've been
cool.
playing there. Yeah, so
How,
it's a good time.
how'd that go?
It's great.
I lost my voice before it, which was a huge bummer, but that's not super out of the ordinary for me.
Well, that's another thing I wanted to bring up to that I didn't ask you on our last talk was, yeah, like listening to these songs, like that's I feel like, because I know you said your voice, you're very self-conscious of your voice, and there's a lot of like yelling, like not screaming, but just very yelling vocals,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, how is he? Like, I was thinking, like, I need to ask him, how does he do that live? If some of the songs are very that same kind of tone throughout
Yeah,
some of those songs. I just feel like you just wear out real quick.
sure. And it's honestly the weekly practice thing that we've been finally doing, which we historically just have never had a good cadence like that. I think that's helped me a ton. Like I feel like almost every practice we've had for the last 3 months or whatever, I've felt good about my voice, which is very
Good.
not
No,
not not even a like there's still pieces of I you know feel like I could do better or whatever, but I guess I have the endurance that I didn't have
there you
before,
go.
and I think it's just from reps.
Yeah.
It's a muscle, really.
Yeah. No kidding. I'm realizing that through asking some of these guys, like, well, I mean, it so happens to be I'm wearing an undertaking shirt or sweater that I asked Austin the same thing because Austin screams, and I just don't even understand how you could just scream like that, because it's like that guttural. It's not like the
Sure.
pop punk screaming or anything like that, but it's like that guttural, like straight from the vocals kind of thing. And I'm just like, how do you do it? He goes, oh, I train myself. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you train for that because it sounds so raunchy. But even singing like that, just like you're singing, it feels like that just takes out a lot on you. But and so Alex, with 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 jumping on like this, did you feel comfortable with the other guys? Did you feel like you kind of meshed pretty well, like when you first started, or did you kind of feel like it took a little bit of momentum to kind of connect with everybody and whatnot?
Sure. No, it was immediate. Brian and I were in the band They Come in Waves when we were kind of riding the same scene with them when Ailments came out. So like Brian and I had rapport. Aaron and I were very close friends back in the day. Kind of like the politics of youth, kind of, you kind of drift away a little bit. And I hadn't seen any of those guys in a really long time. Ended up being at Excellency, and Aaron very casually asked me if I wanted to play a show, so much so that I was like, wait a second, did he just ask me to play a show with them? I mean, I said yes. I said yes. It was so natural. I was like, yeah, all right, cool. I guess I'm playing a show. And I think because Aaron and I have very similar brains when it comes to music, I think it worked, and
Yeah,
when we played together before, it was always fun. It was never not fun, and it's super fun now.
I love
It's
that.
been really cool to be a part of this, kind of coming into it when they have such a wealth of music and such a broad catalog,
Yeah,
a vast catalog, and they're a band that I listened to. So it's not like, I stopped listening to them. I've always admired the songs. I've always admired Aaron's, songwriting, and
yeah,
it's cool to be part of that too. I coming from like the punk and hardcore world, I definitely have there's a little bit of energy that I think I'm biased when I say this, but I think the energy is something that's noticeable in different in these songs where it's like they rock a little bit harder.
yeah.
I think too, they've always been, receptive to, really elevating what they've done. We're on a click track now, which is amazing. That really helps with consistency because all the songs we're playing, I mean, front to back, it's a tall order to play that album. There's a lot going on, but having the consistency of playing the album tempos, like that really kind of helps keep things within certain parameters.
Yeah,
And that's been really cool coming into this too, where it's like, let's be a real band.
yeah,
And it's been really cool to be a real band. It feels exciting. And I mean, I say that because I'm still relatively new back into it. I mean, they've been doing it for 15 years, but it's been cool for me to feel like there's a new life in this band that
yeah.
I can sense there's a new band. And I'm not saying it's because of me. It feels so good right now that it's easy. It's been easy. It's still easy. And honestly, it's fun because it feels like friends first.
Yeah. But one of the things that I thought was like, there's bands that perform, right? And there is like, Kiss, or it could be big band, it could be, whatever band you choose. That's more of like optics and that kind of stuff. Then there's performance bands. And when I was listening to this, I'm like, this is a band I would sit back and just love to watch play,
Mm.
because there's so much talent and there's so much this sounds weird, so there's like a lot of meat to chew on, earwise, while listening, and I bet watching you guys is just like one of those bands I just love to see play live. Like for me, like I would love to watch Sunny Day play. I know the songs in and out, but for Sunny Day Real Estate, I just love to watch them perform,
First
though.
of all, sidetrack. If you haven't seen Sunny Day Real Estate since they've been back, they're on that tour right now. You have to go see them.
Okay.
I cried twice. I saw Absolutely unbelievable band. They close with the Rising Tide, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Alex,
Half
we,
anyway.
we might be good friends after this.
Right.
So I have two Sunny Days tattoos on me and or
Awesome.
some stuff. So yeah, big Sunny Day fan.
It-
But I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them on this tour only because they keep going to San Francisco, and I refuse to go to San Francisco.
Fair.
So just
Listen,
I want
you
to
should
live.
just make an exception. I promise you, you won't regret it. Jeremy Enoch still sounds like a god, so you
He's
have to go to San Fran. Do it just for the day.
we'll see.
We'll call you when they're back in Detroit.
Yeah.
We can come see them in Detroit.
Yeah.
Well, I thought about seeing like, what if I fly somewhere else? I'll even fly somewhere else. I just won't go to Frisco.
Yeah, fly to Bay City to come to our show first
Yeah, yeah.
in 2 weeks, and then hang out and wait for them to play in Nashville, and then fly to Nashville.
That's not a bad idea. We have some
We
friends
got
in
it.
Michigan. This could work. Oh gosh. Oh well, this doesn't have nothing to do with what you were talking about necessarily, but I'm kind of curious because of my own curiosity. All right, so what are some of your favorite hardcore bands and stuff that really shook your world?
Oh man. I guess going back well, I'll go back a little bit and something a little bit more current.
Okay.
One record that's always kind of spoke to me was Witness by Modern Life is War. I always kind of I, I was kind of lean more on the darker melodic side of hardcore. I liked bands like All Out War, or Ringworm, Integrity. But there was something to me that just spoke about Modern Life is War, where they were a little bit darker. It was a little bit more melodic. I mean, I liked a lot of the Bridge Nine bands and Rev stuff too. Champion or Comeback Kid or bands adjacent to that.
Yeah.
I think right now, like Military Gun, Drain, all bands sort of like that, where it's kind of like the new breath of where hardcore is at right now.
Yeah,
There's a
it's kind
lot
of
of
having a second wind, isn't it? Like I'm starting to see some more stuff like that, old school stuff, which is really cool.
yeah, it definitely is, and there are a lot of bands now too where they're kind of like metalcore from, back in the day. A lot of band like Foreign Hands, they sound, like early metalcore Cave In or Poison the Well or From Autumn to Ashes. There's a lot of bands like that. Fleshwater, who's kind of, got the Deftones adjacent thing going on, which is awesome.
Oh,
And their
cool.
other band, Vane, is super great. Another great hardcore band.
I'm
And
gonna have
I
to
think
write all these down. I'm like, I know that one. Nope, not that one. Not that one. Oh, that one.
well, it's
Sorry.
it's just it's one of those things where it's cool to know how many people are in bands. I think everybody should try to be in a band once.
Oh yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
not for everybody, but it's cool. I guess another other couple bands, Conservative Military Image, very cool, like kind of skinhead band. Very, very cool band. There's a lot of great stuff going on in Michigan right now too. Tons and tons of good music.
Really?
Yeah, Vigilante, awesome band. Uh, Big Deal, awesome band. Normal, Silk Tail. I mean, the
Oh,
list goes on and on and on.
okay.
Um,
I'm gonna make mark of where this is at, and I'm gonna have to go back and really. I'm not kidding. I have to write these down.
we're friends now, so I'll make
Wow.
you a playlist and I'll just send.
Hey, there you go. I'm totally cool with that. Okay, so real quick, on this anniversary, do you have any like insight? Do you have any reflection that kind of hit you while kind of it the reality of going, okay, this is 10 years old. Holy cow. Like, what's your kind of thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, I'm 34 now, so I was 24 when it came out, and that blows my mind because I think of 24, and when I see a band now that like a lot of bands are younger than me now, so I'll hear a band or a song or an album or whatever, and I think it's fantastic, and I find out their singer or their primary songwriter or whatever is like 28. And in my mind, I'm like, 28 is so young. That's crazy for them to have produce something. And then I'm like, I look at Since Before Our Time and I'm like, oh, I was 24 in that. And now I think
Wow.
being that far removed from it. You know, we had our first album, Ailments, and I'm proud of that record. I am. But you learn a lot about yourself as a songwriter and as a musician and as a band member, how you relate to other people on your first record. So there was a lot of trial and error and you know of that record that I think really informed Since Before Our Time. And now that we're 10 years removed from it, I can look at it not completely objectively, but more objectively at least. And so you can ask my wife if our band comes on in the car or something, you know, if she's got a playlist going and one of our songs comes up, if it's from like Ailments, I kind of go like, I don't want to, you know, I don't think it's bad. It's just there's something icky about it. Like I can't listen to myself in that context. Whereas with Since Before Our Time, I'm I can be a lot more like I can enjoy it in a way of like we wrote these songs as a band based on what we would want to listen to. So I would hope that I would want to listen to our own music. And so when I hear it now and I can be that separated from it, I'm super proud of it. You know, I'm really proud of it still.
Yeah, you should be.
And thanks, man. And it's just wild to me that that much time has passed and that we were all so young when we did it still, and that we had you know, it feels when we listen to it, when Alex and I especially, we've been going back and making tracks to play along to, you know, so that all the literal bells and whistles can be present in the live show and stuff like that. As we're going back through there and cutting through the layers of all just everything going on that record, it feels so ambitious in a way that I don't think that I had thought about for a long time. I remember sitting in the studio, my buddy Nick, we went to two different studios for the record, really. We had all the music recorded at with my buddy Josh Schrader, who did all of Ailments. So Josh did all of the music for Since Before Our Time, and then we went to my friend Nick. I think I talked to you about him before. He played in the band The Swellers, and he's got a pedal company, guitar company, Wonder Effects, Wonder Guitars.
That's right.
Wonder Guitars with my friend Matt. Can't forget to say that, Matt Tunney.
Shout out, Matt.
Shout out, Matt Tunney. But anyways, but I remember I recorded vocals with Nick because I loved the way that he was a singer, he got it, he could get what I wanted out of him. But I remember one day just grinding away. I think it was probably on Hazel, because that one was a long process of trying to get that song right and get my melodies where I wanted them and stuff like that. And I remember just sitting on his couch and being like this, you know, just like I couldn't get where I wanted to. And I was starting to have that feeling that I've read that other musicians and whatever have, which is everything I've written is garbage. This is going to suck. This isn't going to live up to what I want it to this is the first time we're producing a sequel to something, and it's going to be worse. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that was where my brain was going. And I remember just having that like panic. And now I think back and I'm like, it's because I cared so much about that in a way that, not that I didn't care about Ailments, I did, but Ailments, it was like, this is our first album. Let's go. Okay, cool. You finished that guitar part. Let's start in on the vocals. Cool. You're done with that. Like there wasn't a lot of finesse to the process. And so when we were doing Since Before Our Time, we took our time, you know, and it was a long process and it was stressful. And I remember setting up a microphone in my apartment at the time to do backing vocals, just to track them myself so that I didn't have to be anybody else's problem. And it was just it was a lot, but I'm now that I can reflect on it, I'm glad that we put in all that work, and I can still listen to it and be really objectively happy with how it turned out. And I think Scott and Matt, who were also on the record, played on that record, would probably reiterate those feelings.
And with that, so you feel some growth from where you are now and well, I'm assuming you guys are writing new stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. like I said, I'm for me, and unfortunately it has to bleed out to the band because that's just how we work. But I'm very one track mind when it comes to the band. So like right now we're hyper focused on that show. But by myself, I have been demoing stuff and coming up with ideas here and there. I just haven't brought a whole lot of it to the group yet because I want when we do for it to be fresh and for us to all be able to, we wrote and recorded Evergreen, our last album, which I'm very proud of, and I love that record and I'm happy with it. But that was 2020 was a big part of that record. So there was not a lot of getting together in a space and jamming and making the songs,
True.
really have that in the room feel.
Yeah.
And now we're getting that with Since Before Our Time, and it's almost like our old music is inspiring something new because it's like, okay, now we're feeling how these songs can play off of each other.
Yeah.
I told the guys at like our last practice, I was like, take mental stock of what parts of this you're really enjoying so that we can take little pieces of that for whatever we do next. Because, sometimes something feels really cool when you're recording it and then you go to jam it and you're like, oh man, it's just not like we're not all on the same wavelength.
Yes.
Alex is over here hearing the song as a ballad while I'm hearing it as a rocker, and somebody else is hearing it as something else, and you just can't get the vibe to mesh unless you're all in a room creating it together. That was a long process in itself. So we had a few months. The first week that we recorded that album was in 2019, and so that was before pandemic stuff. So we got to do a little bit more with that, but again, it was a process of us trying to work around each other's real life schedules. I wasn't living in the same town as the rest of the guys at that time, so that was even less opportunity to get together regularly. So yeah, that was a lot of studio project. Evergreen was realistically so was Since Before Our Time, but I think we played those songs so much from Since Before Our Time throughout the years that they feel a little more live than that.
I was curious. So do you feel? I know you're focused, like you said, you're focused on the live stuff right now. But do you feel like if you remember this, your masterpiece is just in your sleeve somewhere? Like you feel like
Yeah, man.
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, baby.
I love that, man. I appreciate you remembering that because they've heard me say that before too in the band. It's the dragon you're always chasing, right? It's
Yeah.
like I want to write something that's going to make me so mad the next time that I have to write something because it's such a mountain to climb. But I mean,
like that.
I'm using, I'm saying me, but having this group of dudes and we're all really locked in on the same page and we just have like a really respectful, fun rapport with each other. I don't think that we have any worry of not writing our best stuff yet. Like I think that's gonna happen. There's just too much synergy in the room when we get together at this point
Yeah.
that our best music has to come from that because even if I bring an idea to the table or Alex brings an idea to the table or something like that and it's not 100% yet, like we're gonna get it there and we're gonna
Oh yeah.
be able to put the work in and do it. So um yeah, I mean I'm super super geeked up about new music and also very like not nervous but like I just want so badly to do it right that I'm sure I'm going to give myself some headaches about it, but they'll be good headaches.
And okay, so one more time, can you give me the information on the gig coming up, the
Yeah.
dates, the time, who's playing, whoever else is playing, maybe, and then yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be Saturday, March 23rd in Bay City, Michigan at the Masonic Temple. I don't have the address right in front of me, but that should be good enough. Few bands, so there's a lot of bands playing. They're doing two stages. Forest Green, I know you're familiar with them. They're gonna play with us. We
So you guys are buds, right? You guys still buds?
they're the bros. A band called The Live Long Day, which was a really cool band. When we first started, we played a lot of shows with them, and they agreed to do a reunion show for this, which is just really cool to me because that was a band that locally was really important to me, and they were really cool within our little community here. So they're playing their first show in a decade, which is really cool.
Wow, very cool.
A great band from Indiana called Stop Drop Rewind. They've been buddies of mine for over a decade, but we've barely spent any time in the same room together. So I'm really excited to be doing a show with them.
Cool.
Band out of downstate called Sincerely is coming out for it. Another one called Saving Throw, both cool, like mathy instrumental bands.
Oh,
And
very
then
cool.
yes, a bunch of newer bands in our area that I haven't seen a lot of them that I'm really excited to just kind of see what's out there and get to know. um I'm the old man now, get to know these younger bands and check them out and see what they're doing. And we grew up, a little side note, but our early shows 2009 or whatever, when we were first doing it, we played with so many metalcore bands and stuff like that, which were great, but that we didn't fit that vibe. And now it feels like our music scene has gotten so eclectic and there's so many different types of bands. It's just really cool that there's so many different genres all coming together, and you can see little influences from everything, including local bands and stuff like that, like popping up on everybody. And yeah, it's just rad. It's cool.
Yeah, I love that. I've heard that from a bunch of other guys too that I'm friends with. Like, just there's a lot more variety now in a lot of shows
Yes.
of different
Yeah.
genres, and everybody gets along really well, and
Mhm.
that's really cool though. It's really cool.
There's a lot of genre blending too. I think people are way less concerned about the box that the music fits in. I mean, especially kids now. I mean, Turnstile's kind of a polarizing band in the hardcore scene, but I mean, it is what you say it is. There are many people who would say that it's not, but honestly, I think it is. It's a spirit. And it's not just within that, but it's with all things. It's way less about what somebody can call it, and it's way more about what it feels like. There's so
It's
much
the
music right now.
experience. Yeah,
And
it's
it
the
is,
experience
and I
of listening, it's the experience of seeing them live. Absolutely, I agree.
for sure. And kids are young enough now where they're like, it's like when we were kids going to shows. We have a couple venues around here that, there were shows at 2, 3 times a week, and there were people who lived there on the weekends, and kids want to do that again. And it's easier to be in a band than it's ever been. It's the gear is accessible, the technology to get your songs out there is accessible. I mean, you can get your songs on Spotify and Apple Music, or you just sign up for a distribution website. It's cool. It's cool that people just want to make art, even if they're not doing it thinking about making art. Everybody wants to be in a band, everybody can be in a band, and everybody should be in a band. I know it's cool. There's a really healthy spirit right now, and I think it's probably partially COVID, but more so it's like people want something to be excited about, and it's easy to be excited about something like music. It's the core of our lives. It's the core of everybody's life that we know, all of our friends. If it's not wrestling, it's music.
That's right.
For sure.
I totally forgot. That's right.
I'll be in a few weeks, brother.
Oh, what was that?
WrestleMania is just in a few weeks. I'll be there. So.
Is Alex? Are you a wrestling fan too?
Not yet. Yeah, we'll get him there.
I was when I was a kid. I was a WWF kid. The only thing that matters to me in life is music. I mean, besides all the amazing friends I have. But yeah, it's hard for me to commit to watching anything on TV or following anything like that. As an adult, I own a TV, but it's on. We play Mario Kart.
I was gonna say your Mario Kart.
It's my Mario Kart TV 3 or 4 nights a week for a couple hours. Like,
if you're out here trying to get humbled in some Mario Kart, play with Alex.
Oh no. I had a big brother.
I believe it. My wife and I got back into Mario Kart, and we thought we would play a nice fun game with Alex, and it was man, oh man.
I love what you just said. I love what you said. We thought we'd do a nice fun game with Alex.
Yeah, man. Nope. Well, my wife is extremely competitive, so the second she saw Alex, like how he played Mario Kart, she's like, okay, I have this is my new life mission. I was like, oh, okay, there goes our hobby.
Oh no! She's gonna be like, I don't want you in this band anymore. We're not going over to Alex's house.
She loves she loves them. In fact, recently I did a post about who's your favorite band member, something like that, and she put Alex. So
Oh my gosh.
I gotta get better at Mario Kart, I
Yeah.
guess.
So has she gotten better since she's been challenging?
Yeah, she can beat me. Yeah, I mean, not that that's a feat, but I mean, she's clear number one over me in our household. So
Oh my gosh. So Alex, were you also a GoldenEye guy too?
So no, like
No, you weren't into that?
I was so honestly, I was a PlayStation kid. I was never like I had Nintendo and Super Nintendo. I'm 38. I'm old, but yeah, I was
sorry, Scotty.
I was PlayStation. I never did the 64 thing, and I've never been into
Okay.
first-person shooters. I've never owned an Xbox. The Halo thing wasn't for me. I just always Mario Kart.
That's great though. I love that. It's so it's so simple and it's fun and apparently you can destroy anybody. See now I'm like, I wonder if my brother Jeff could like I wonder if to see you two guys go head to head. That'd be really
I'll plug this right now. Nintendo has a big sale, and Mario Kart's only $39. If you don't have a Switch, I suggest it.
I don't know.
Oh,
I thought
didn't
you
know
were
that.
about to jump into like challenging his brother Jeff and be like, "Here we are, Jeff."
Let's do it. Let's do
calling
it.
you out, like just hit cut the
So-
wrestling promo on
So,
him.
so the thing is, I am. So, yeah, we're gonna need to do that. Let's make it happen. I'm sorry.
Well, we'll see. I mean, if I can talk him out, maybe going to Michigan sometime,
Yeah, 2 weeks from
meet
tomorrow,
up and
23rd, Bay City, Michigan, the Sonic, and then you're going to see Sunny Day Real Estate. Yeah.
hey, there you go. See, there's a plan.
Yes.
Guys, thank you. I always say this, but thank you for your time. Hey everyone, sorry for the sudden cut. But as I was editing this video, at the tail end, of course, I ran into some audio problems and some visual problems. So I just figured I'd just cut in here and just remind you to check out Wolves and Machines this Saturday, the 23rd, and to play some Mario Kart. And there's more to come. So see ya.
I'm glad.
Is awesome. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will. Do you want me to? So side thing. Do you guys want me to put this on the week of, or when when would you like this to come out?
Anytime, buddy.
Yeah,
It doesn't
whenever
matter. Well, you know, I would. You might know better than I do what's the best time to post it, best day, but we're not. You know, we're on your schedule.
I'm just trying to think like what would work because I've kind of died out. So I'm like, I don't know what works.
We have no pressure on our end, so all good.
Okay, take it easy and you.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm definitely gonna probably follow you